Hi, and thank you for participating in this brief webinar, which summarizes the common EPA-related environmental reporting requirements that many workplaces have to comply with. I am Kevin Konkey, the Vice President of EHS Technical Services for Hygieneering, and I will present a high-level overview of these environmental reporting requirements. Let's get started with Tier 2 reporting. This reporting is required where hazardous substances or extremely hazardous chemical substances are used, produced, or stored over specific thresholds. The general reporting threshold is 10,000 pounds or more of a hazardous substance. However, the reporting threshold for extremely hazardous substances is 500 pounds and greater, or the special threshold planning quantity, if applicable, whichever is lower. Therefore, you need to understand your operations and what substances you have on site to evaluate whether you have to report or not. These reports must be submitted to the state, LEPC, and fire authority by March 1st annually. Toxic Release Inventory, or TRI, Form R, or Form A reporting is required to report releases and waste management for specifically listed chemicals located on the EPA's Toxic Release Inventory. A company must submit a report if it has 10 or more employees and has a primary NAICS code subject to EPRA Section 313. If the facility manufactures, processes, or otherwise uses toxic chemicals and exceeds the reporting thresholds, it needs to conduct its TRI. There are some specific threshold quantities as shown on the slide. This report must be submitted to your state and EPA online by CDX by July 1st of each year. Annual or biannual hazardous waste reports are required for facilities that generate, treat, store, or dispose of hazardous waste. There are many factors to evaluate exactly what needs to be reported, so a specific evaluation is needed. These reports are due to the state and the EPA by March 1st biannually. Department of Transportation or DOT registrations are required for facilities that ship or transport hazardous materials and also including hazardous waste over certain quantities. As you can see on the slide, the class of material and the quantity will dictate the registration requirements. These registrations must be submitted annually by June 30th to the DOT. Air emission inventory reports are required for facilities that have EPA permits to emit to the atmosphere. Class 1 and Class 2 sources are typically included in the report. It is important to be aware of any permit or product limitations when preparing your report. Due dates for these emission inventories vary by state. Greenhouse gas inventory reports are required for facilities that emit 25,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide or more of greenhouse gas emissions per year. As shown on the slide, there are many greenhouse gases that need to be accounted for inclusion in the inventory report. These reports must be submitted annually to the EPA by March 31st. Stormwater permits are required for construction and/or industrial facilities that maintain stormwater coverage through the EPA's National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, or otherwise known as NPDES permit. There may be required water sampling and submission of annual certifications, or if there are no potential pollutant sources, you may need to submit a no exposure certification. Submission dates vary by your location. And finally, our last report is a wastewater discharge monitoring report, which is required by the EPA under the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, otherwise known as the NPDES regulations for facilities that maintain wastewater discharge permits to a publicly owned treatment facility. These reports vary by your location and permit details and may require sampling as well. In summary, this was just meant to be a brief overview of many common facility, mainly EPA-related reporting requirements. Hygieneering has been assisting our clients in many different industries through this regulatory process for many years. We would welcome the opportunity to assist with your environmental reporting needs or answer any questions you may have. This slide contains my direct contact information if you need to get in touch with me about your environmental reporting needs or any other EHS issues. Thank you for tuning into this webinar. Be sure to check out our website for future topics to get an idea of the EHS services we provide and how we might be able to assist with your EHS needs. Thanks again for watching.